Lord, Apollo Harris, aka the Crazy Uncle. Hey, guess what? This your first time tuning in. Go ahead. Hit the doggone subscribe button. Hit notification bell and tell me I post up new content. Well, it seems to me that a lot of bullshit is happening. Biden to Trump, let's play chess, but instead of actually like really, since the United States is nothing more than a big ass chessboard, we're not going to actually really play with the actual pieces, but we're going to play with actual people. Taste the beverage in hand. Matter of fact, this is a brand new one from the people who make these. It's called Jungle Juice. Roar! Okay, so enough of the bullshit now. Let's talk about the bullshit that I actually really wanted to do this show on. So I did a show on this. Well, I did a show about Trump and that bullshit assassination, right? So in either case, now they coming out saying that okay, well, he was 150 yards from the president. So they went to this man's house, and then they said, well, we couldn't find nothing to make us think that he was an extremist. Of course he wasn't an extremist because y'all hired that bastard. Okay? That's one way of looking at it. Well, that's basically that's the only way to look at it, right? And now that I actually stop and think about it, okay, this motherfucker was a pretty good shot, right? So in either case, now I know what you're saying or asking. What does this have to do with chess? Well, let's look at it like this. Since the presidential debate, right? They've been, his own party, right? Trying to get Biden out of there, right? So let's actually really stop and look at this for a minute. So the presidential debate happens, right? Then Trump does a rally in Pennsylvania. So he gets shot in the ear. So now everybody's up in a frenzy. And it's like that the tide, you can, for the most part, you can actually really say that there's a power shift, right? I honestly, me personally, I truly honestly believe that people was going to vote for Trump to get Biden's ass out of there anyway. And I really talk about this in previous shows. I can't recall the title of it right now, but hey, it is what it is. So Trump gets shot in the ear, right? So now keep in mind, right? The president looked like shit with the debate, right? So now President Biden, right? He done caught COVID-19 for the third time. Probably inside of, I don't know, maybe a year and a half, maybe 2 years, right? So a question has to be asked, right? Because you already know that the United States government, right? They're going to have or anybody that's actually really working for the government at such a high level, right? They're going to have the best foods, the best medicines, the best everything known to man. But this motherfucker caught COVID 3 times. I mean, come on now. Let's actually really stop and actually really think about this for a minute. Where the average person will catch it 1 time and they're out of there. So y'all got to ask yourself, okay, What makes President Biden so different from anybody else? Is it because he's president, or is it because that ain't another President Biden? That's a goddamn clone. That has an awful defect to it. But you know, you would think, why the fuck would you clone somebody? And in the late 70s, going into the 80s, and when I say that, I'm talking about when Biden was, vice president. But and then here's another thing too, right? Everybody holler about, well, they need to get Biden out of there. He too old. He too this. He too that. He too the other. But if you actually really stop and think about it, people, when Biden was vice president, he really looked like he didn't know what the fuck was going on there. So, what makes it any different from when he was vice president to now he's president? Oh, I get it. Because as vice president, you don't do shit. Just like that bitch Kamala Harris. She don't do shit. Right? So, my whole deal is, now y'all can take this however you want to take it. But I'm going to tell you something, people. Ain't shit wrong with Biden. Right? He has a sharp brain, but see, but then again, you go back to the previous shows that I did. And I told y'all then, I said, look, Biden is only in office because he spent 47 years in the Senate. And so they were just like, so they treated Biden as if he was a football player like Peyton Manning and old Ray Ray, right? And if you actually really pay attention to what these two players said, either at the start of the season or during mid-season, right? They say, hey, you know what? This is going to be my last season. And the motherfuckers ended up in the Super Bowl. So they say, hey, look, you was a good one, so we're gonna give you this ring, and we're gonna see you on your way. And now Peyton Manning is doing Bush Bean commercials. And he was doing nationwide commercials and all that kind of shit, but y'all get where I'm going with this. So again, that's how you have to look at this, right? They playing, and then you also got to look at it like this too, right? Another reason why Biden is in office is because they didn't want Trump back in office. They didn't want him to repeat as president, because when he did run, right, he ran off of his own money, which for the most part, he didn't have to listen to no goddamn body. And then the whole time he was president, all what you heard from him, you're fake news. You're fake news. You're fake news. And all of that shit started happening to him. The Stormy Daniels, the porn star, came out with, he grabbed my pussy. Right? So he had to come off of a lot of money. Then they tried to charge him with the shit that happened in January 6th. Then there was the stuff about he had to come off of damn near $500 million, and if he didn't, right, they was gonna start taking a lot of his assets. Trump Towers being one of them, right? And then there was that thing about he actually really got arrested, which I think that is the same thing, right? When he got arrested, and he took the mug shot, right? Which was not a mug shot, people. So all of this shit happened. It cost Trump a lot of money, right? And so now, since all of that has happened, right? 9 times in 10, Trump ain't got no more money, right? So now he got to come off he got to take the donations and all that kind of stuff. And if you really pay attention, when was the last time you heard Trump say anything about fake news? I'll wait. Because again, put like this, when somebody has their own money and they run for a position like that, and they use their own money, guess what? You're not going to be able to tell them nothing. You got to break them down. Make them behave. Then send them back out there. You know? And so now as far as like Biden goes, just like I said, ain't shit wrong with Biden. They just let Biden have it because he was in, put like this motherfucker been in office for as many years I've been born. They tired of looking at his ass, right? We say like, look, we're gonna let you go out on top. You gonna be president with the United States. Oh, and by the way, we're gonna give you this bitch, Kamala Harris or Kamala Harris or however you fuck you gonna say her name, right? So you gotta do this. And so now you got, and then, you know, motherfuckers, you know, they put on the show, act like y'all sick and all, right? Then it goes to the news. But then again, it's just like what you got to ask yourself. How does a motherfucker catch COVID-19 3 times and he ain't dead? Especially at his motherfucking age, right? I mean, you put like this, you know, and far as I know, ain't been no updates to the motherfucking vaccine, you know? So that within itself should tell you something. This ain't nothing but a big-ass game of chess. And for those of y'all that don't see it, guess what? You're getting played. All right? You know, just like I said, you know, it's just certain things that you got to really look out for. And if you're real good, you can catch that shit right off. And so basically, this is all what the fuck this is, people. And for those of y'all that really know how to play chess, you know what the fuck I'm talking about. So, with that being said, tell your mama, tell your daddy, tell your big dad, tell your big Bertha, your uncle, your auntie, your grandma, your papa, motherfucker next door, cross the street, round the corner, Paulus Harris, a.k.a. Crazy Uncle. I'ma holler at y'all.